Joe Charboneau drank beer through his nose. He pulled teeth with pliers. He fixed broken bones with whiskey. Joe Charboneau was basically unhinged. But what he did in 1980 made him a baseball god. Joe was born on June 17, 1955 in Belvidere, Illinois. His family moved to Santa Clara, California when he was young. He was the fifth of 7 kids. His dad left when Joe was little. His mom worked as a hospital receptionist. They lived in poverty. To help his family, Joe did something crazy. He fought in illegal bare-knuckle boxing matches. These fights happened in boxcars and warehouses. He made $25 for a win and $15 for a loss. Joe lost more than he won. The fights left him with a broken nose 3 times. Once, he tried to fix his nose with pliers. Another time, a doctor had to remove all the cartilage. Joe also got stabbed 3 times during this period. Despite all this, Joe loved baseball. He played at Buxer High School and West Valley College. The Minnesota Twins drafted him in 1976, but he didn't sign. The Philadelphia Phillies picked him up later that year. Joe quit the team in 1977 after fighting with management. He went home and worked as a stock clerk. The Twins gave him another chance in 1978. He hit .350 in the California League. But Joe got in another barroom brawl. The Twins traded him to the Cleveland Indians. Joe's path to the majors was wild. In 1979, he hit .352 for the Indians' Double-A team in Chattanooga. He led the entire Southern League in batting. His big break came when Indians star Andre Thornton hurt his knee. This opened a spot on the roster. Joe made his MLB debut on April 11, 1980. Before the season started, something bizarre happened. During an exhibition game in Mexico, a fan stabbed Joe with a penknife. The knife went 4 inches deep and hit a rib. The attacker was arrested and fined 50 pesos. Joe joked that was only $2.27 for stabbing a person. He played his first regular season game just over a month later. The 1980 season was magic for Joe. He played 131 games between left field and designated hitter. By season's end, he hit .289 with 23 home runs and 87 RBIs. He led the team in both home runs and RBIs. This performance earned him the American League Rookie of the Year award. He was the first Cleveland Indian to win it since Chris Chambliss in 1971. But Joe's stats weren't the only reason fans loved him. His personality made him a superstar. The Cleveland Plain Dealer nicknamed him Super Joe. Stories about his wild antics spread like wildfire. Fans said he could drink beer through his nose. This was true after doctors removed cartilage from his nose. He also opened beer bottles with his eye socket, though he said this only happened once in college. People told stories about Joe removing unwanted tattoos with razor blades. He won bets by eating lit cigarettes or swallowing eggs whole. He played a game called The Incredible Hulk, where someone would break rocks on his chest while he held another rock. Joe stitched cuts with fishing line and pulled out his own tooth with pliers. Joe confirmed many of these stories were true. He said he preferred not to specify which ones because it would ruin the magic. As his 1980 season went on and the team traveled, new stories emerged that he had never heard before. He described it as everybody started piling on. Joe said many tales came from his college days. The public loved Joe's persona. His antics combined with his performance got him a dedicated superfan named Don Boot Buttrey. Boot reportedly performed similar feats. Joe's actions even inspired a local hit single by Section 36 called Go Joe Charboneau. The song reached number 3 on local charts. For a period, he was arguably the most prominent sports figure in Northeast Ohio. Back in 1980, if you missed a Joe Charboneau home run, you had to wait for tomorrow's paper. But today, you don't have to miss a thing. Watch every MLB game live with Fubo. No cable, no hassle. Just like Super Joe, it's a bit untraditional, but it works. Then disaster struck. In spring training 1981, Joe suffered a severe back injury during a headfirst slide. The injury derailed his season and he never recovered. Joe underwent multiple back surgeries. Doctors at Duke University Hospital removed 2.5 discs from his back. They gave him a grim prognosis. They said he would be fortunate to walk, let alone run or swing a bat. The physical toll was immense. Joe lost 25 pounds after the first operation and nearly 50 pounds after a second back surgery. He also suffered from drop foot in his right leg. The impact on his performance was immediate and severe. The pain and loss of effectiveness at the plate never truly went away. His swing was not the same. After his stellar rookie season, Joe's power numbers collapsed. He hit only 6 home runs over the next 2 years. His batting average fell to .210 in 48 games in 1981 and .214 in just 22 games in 1982. Beyond back issues, Joe dealt with other injuries. He sustained a hand injury requiring surgery to repair ligament damage. Doctors discovered he had been playing with a broken bone. Joe played only 60 more major league games after the 1981 injury. He was released in 1983 and officially retired in 1984 after several unsuccessful comeback attempts. He holds the unfortunate record for the fewest career games played by a Rookie of the Year at just 201 games. Joe expressed frustration that people attributed his decline to psychological problems rather than severe physical injuries. He said it took a good break to get there and a bad break to keep him from getting back. There was profound irony in Joe's career. A player celebrated for extreme physical antics and apparent imperviousness to pain was ultimately undone by a relatively Joe stayed involved in baseball.
He explored sports management and hosted his own radio show. In 1999, he joined the Canton Crocodiles of the Independent Frontier League. He served as hitting instructor, first base coach, and director of baseball operations. He even made a brief return as a pinch hitter in 2000, getting a single in his only at-bat. Joe's coaching career continued with various Frontier League teams. He managed the Lorain County Ironmen until the team stopped operating in 2019. Since 2016, he has been hitting coach at Notre Dame College in South Euclid, Ohio. Joe also worked in public relations for the Indians and serves as a team ambassador. Outside baseball, Joe worked for the Recreation Department of North Ridgeville, a Cleveland suburb. He had a small role in the movie The Natural. The film's narrative of a talented baseball player's rise and fall resembled his own life. Joe lives in North Ridgeville with his wife, Ellen. He has 2 children and 6 grandchildren. Joe reflected on his past with self-awareness. He acknowledged he could have been a better teammate and was pretty young and immature during his playing days. He views these as learning mistakes from which he hopes to have grown into a better person. But Joe's story took a troubling turn in recent years. In August 2022, he was arrested and faced multiple criminal charges, including domestic violence and resisting arrest. The incident occurred at Tony K's Bar and Grill in Berea, Ohio. Witnesses reported seeing Joe kick his 52-year-old wife and later shove her to the ground. Surveillance footage reportedly showed the altercation. Joe was also accused of throwing beer at his wife and other patrons. Police found multiple broken items and turned over furniture in Joe's home. Officers described him as highly intoxicated and exhibiting signs of drug abuse. During booking, he became erratic and aggressive and tried to leave. He was charged with domestic violence, resisting arrest, and violating a protection order that prohibited drinking or using drugs. Joe pleaded not guilty to all charges. Court records showed Joe was also facing assault charges from an unrelated 2021 incident. The recent legal troubles suggest the unhinged aspects of Joe's persona, once perceived as quirky, have manifested in concerning ways in his later years. Joe Charboneau's legacy is that of a baseball comet. He burned incredibly bright for a single season, leaving an indelible mark with his bat and personality. His story illustrates the double-edged sword of cultivating a larger-than-life public persona. Joe Charboneau was basically unhinged. For one magical year, that made him unforgettable.